Okay, so it's the 14th of March 2024, and in the past week I've been seeing headlines like this. So in this video we're going to look at the facts and we're going to be debunking some of the myths in illegal streaming. Stick around, all the details coming up shortly. Don't forget to like this video, share it and subscribe to my channel. Doing these three things help us make more great videos for you. So let's have a look at the facts. First of all, a lot of people are under the assumption that receiving illegal streams in the UK is not illegal. It's just if you download movies or TV shows. In actual fact, even if you are streaming, it is illegal. Streaming does involve downloading data. It downloads the program or part of the program to a buffer on your device for playback. And the Fraud Act 2006, Section 11, which is titled Obtaining Services Dishonestly, Section 34 of this Act says Section 11 makes it an offence for any person by any dishonest act to obtain services for which payment is required with intent to avoid payment. Now you might be thinking, well, I pay for this service, but if you're illegal streaming, then you're not paying the official rights holders. So if you're not paying the official rights holders, you are avoiding payment to the official right holders and therefore can be prosecuted under this act, which you can get a custodial sentence of up to 5 years. But I think in the UK that is very, very unlikely to happen because the prisons, quite frankly, are full. In actual fact, here in the UK, at the moment, the police are so understaffed that even if you steal from a shop, if it's under the value of £200, then the police will not even attend. So I think it's very unlikely that any user of these kind of services are likely to gain any kind of custodial sentence. Now, a lot of people are also asking, well, I've got a VPN, so surely that will protect me. No, unfortunately, it might not always protect you. If, like in the instance of GE Hosting, which was raided back in 2020, the authorities raided them, they found their database and managed to pull off that database customers' names and email addresses and possibly home addresses. So, and this would have been found for all customers, not just customers that are not using a VPN. A few months after GE Hosting was shut down, then many users got this letter, a cease and desist notice, which explains persons whom subscribe to services like the service provided by GE Hosting also commit criminal offence, contrary to Section 11 of the Fraud Act, which carries a maximum sentence of up to 5 years imprisonment and or fine and consequently results in a criminal record. And it goes on to say, we are aware that you, members of your household, have been subscribing to this illegal service. Now, as far as I know, none of the consumers of this service, the people that subscribed, had any further action taken against them. And in actual fact, the last paragraph of the letter said, this letter is not notification of current police action or the beginning of investigation against you. Neither is it the commencement of legal proceedings or criminal prosecution against you at this time. This letter is a formal cease and desist notice requiring you to cease the streaming of this illegal service which has constituted an offence. However, subscribers shall be monitored and the police reserve the right to proceed to investigation and prosecution should you ignore the contents of this letter. So what they're saying is, we've got our beady eyes on you. If you end up streaming again anywhere else, then we could take matters further. You've had your warning. But again, I've not heard of any users that have carried on streaming in any way, shape or form had any further action taken against them. So let's just have a look at this article in the Metro first of all. Let's just see what they have to say here. So it says, people who use dodgy Fire Sticks may be visited by police as Amazon crackdown on streaming. Well, it's not Amazon that are cracking down on the streaming, it's Sky and the Federation Against Copyright Theft. And the dodgy Fire Stick is just basically a standard Fire Stick that somebody has gone into the settings and just allowed downloads from any sources. It goes on to say the number of users jailbreaking their devices, well, I wouldn't call it jailbreaking, it's just turning a setting on and then allowing it to download apps from outside of the Amazon store. So the number of users doing this to their devices to allow them to watch any channels without paying for subscriptions has increased. Well, you kind of think, well, what do you expect? Unfortunately, currently, a lot of the channels, a lot of the programs that you can get are heavily fragmented across different platforms. Football, for instance, is spread in the UK across 3 different platforms. So if you wanted to watch every match that was available on UK TV in the Premier League, it would probably cost you the best part of £1,000 a year. And prices just don't seem to be going down. They seem to be going up. Now, obviously, that's not an excuse, but it may help if these broadcasters could lower their costs and pass on that saving to the customers. It goes on to say that subscription service Sky is now teaming up with trading standards to threaten those proving the streams with arrest. Well, I thought Sky had teamed up with trading standards many years ago. So carrying on, Federation Against Copyright Theft are preparing to send cease and desist letters and officials to users' doorsteps. They said that last year. Haven't heard anything from anyone who's had a knock on their door. Carrying on, under copyright law, those found to be fraudulently receiving transmissions can be sentenced to up to 10 years in prison. Section 11 of the Fraud Act, which they're using to prosecute people, or if they did want to prosecute people, carries a sentence of up to 5 years in prison. They've also warned those users using the illegal streaming services are having their personal data stored with providers selling it on for profit. I've not heard of any of that going on. A provider who's taken your details tends to want to keep under the radar and doesn't really want to be called out for passing on data. In the UK, many fully legal companies have been found out doing this. So let's just have a look at what The Sun had to say. So The Sun are saying the remote control can be adapted to sideload unofficial apps that aren't found on Amazon store in a process called jailbreaking. Well, it's not the remote control that's adapted, and it's not adapted, as I said earlier. Literally, it's just going into settings and allowing apps from unknown sources, just like you can do on an Android phone or an Android tablet. They go on to say that jailbreaking a Fire Stick is not only against the law in the UK and the US, but it can also permanently damage the Amazon device. It's not illegal, it's not against the law to open up a Fire Stick to allow apps from unknown sources. If it was, then Amazon wouldn't allow you to do it. It goes on to say, in the latest crackdown against illegal streaming, a total of 22 legal warnings were issued to people across Ireland alone. These were issued with cease and desist notices telling them to immediately stop selling devices or face tougher consequences, including criminal prosecution. So these people, they were selling illegal streaming. They got no prison sentence. They didn't even get arrested. They just got a cease and desist notice, just a warning telling them to stop selling those devices. Otherwise, they would face criminal prosecution. So I've got a feeling very few, if any at all, users of these streaming services would face any kind of prosecution whatsoever if the people actually selling the services aren't facing any kind of prosecution themselves. Now, in the past, some of the large-scale streaming services that have been shut down have faced criminal prosecution. So I'm not saying that everybody in the illegal streaming business has escaped prosecution. For instance, Flawless, a few months ago, it was reported that Some of their members were given a custodial sentence. Mark Gould, I think it was, the actual leader of the service, got, I think it was 11 years. And another thing I keep seeing in a lot of reports is this kind of quote here, that using illegal streaming methods exposes end users to the risk of data theft, fraud, and malware. Research from BStreamWise says that 1 in 3 people who illegally stream have been victim of fraud, scams, or identity theft as a result of using illicit means to watch premium content. She said illegal streaming is a huge issue for the industry, and whilst it may seem like a low-risk, high-reward crime, the proceeds are used to fund other serious forms of criminal activity. First of all, let's just address the being a victim of fraud or data theft. So far, I've not actually heard of anybody saying that they have been a victim of fraud as a result of their streaming service. I've had plenty of people that I've heard of that have been a victim of fraud, scams, or identity theft as a result of other perfectly legal companies in the UK. I've not heard of anybody suffering from malware either. If you have been a victim of any kind of data theft, fraud, or malware due to streaming, let us know in the comments down below. Also, the final comment here was the proceeds are used to fund other serious forms of criminal activity. Well, all the people, certainly in the UK, that have been caught and prosecuted so far have not been using the proceeds to fund other serious criminal activity. Really, they've used the proceeds to fund their lifestyle. When they've been raided, they're found to have decent houses, really nice cars, really nice watches, and just living a great lavish lifestyle. Nothing else has really been found, so I don't really know where they get this statement from. All that being said, yes, illegal streaming, believe it or not, is illegal, and you shouldn't be doing it. It's not good at all for the industry. Although I've had a bit of a pop at all these quotes in here, it doesn't make illegal streaming any more right or any more wrong. If you are prepared to use these services, then you must accept the risks that can be associated with it. Something else I did read recently, in Spain, a judge has signed a warrant to reveal the IP addresses of illegal streamers who watch football via illegal streams. And what this means is, obviously, just like in the UK, La Liga will be sending out mystery shoppers to buy IPTV services that have been made available. They will study the services, find out details about the server, and then contact the internet service providers, and although this hasn't been clarified, possibly VPN providers, and ask them to provide the details of anybody that has connected to the illegal streaming server so that they can take matters further and possibly warn or prosecute users of these services. This could impact a lot of British expats in Spain, the Balearics and the Canary Islands who currently use illegal streaming services to get their much loved British TV and sport. I'll obviously be keeping an eye on this and let you know if anything further comes of it. Well, I hope you found this video informative, and let us know in the comments down below your feelings about anything that I've gone through today. I hope you liked it, and if you did, consider hitting that thanks button and making a donation to this channel. Or if you want to have a look through my Amazon shop in the process of getting a new VPN or need a new Firestick, Fire TV Cube or Firestick accessories, then have a look in the description down below. We've got loads of great links down there for you. And whilst you're at my YouTube channel, why not stick around? I've got thousands of other videos for you right here, right now, covering all sorts of subjects. Hopefully whilst you're here, you're going to find something to educate you, entertain you, amuse you, and maybe even save you some time and money. And also, if you want to hit me up on X, formerly known as Twitter, then my handle is @CWTEK, or if you want to have a look at my website, it's cwtek.co.uk. Thanks for watching. Speak to you again soon.